on the CT side. It seems like it's going to be Endpoint here. It's actually a pretty close one at the end of it all. Anarchiz with some odd positioning, to be completely honest, there on top of the barrel. And they'll be able to take it. So Endpoint should be on the Endpoint, or Endpoint's going to be on the CT side here. Yep.
It should be a good thing for them, honestly. They weren't always looking the tastiest on the terrorist side, I would say. But you know what? On CT side, they've looked like a bit of a snack on both rounds, actually. Not both rounds, both maps, actually.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious if their procedures are as good on Inferno as they were on Dust 2. We'll see if Secret have better looks for us here than they did on D2 as well, if they can replicate some of that success from Train. I'm just hoping for a good game here. And I'm
hoping for Secret to show up. I mean, I'm not playing favorites. I was just very disappointed in Secret and Dust 2. But yeah, you know what? We do have actually 2 sets of utility, which is always fun because it almost always means they've got an execute. Robin, though, is executing. Now, they do throw the long control smoke. It's not always the best of ideas to do so in pistol rounds because you can just have a USB come right through and take your head off. But I suppose that's the risk of any smoke that is going to be thrown. Mighty Max, in the meanwhile, is actually seeing a Glock come through. He's going to take some heads off regardless. It's a bit of the switchery-dippery-do the other way around. Now it's all about Thomas. He's got the CZ. He's very good with it. Great skin as well. Great guy. Great hair. You know what? He's got this easy.
Just 2 players remain for Secret now. Juan and Tudson. They're going to be making their way back down to B. And it looks like Endpoint, they're playing a nice 2-2 setup, so Thomas should be able to spot them out. He doesn't have armor, though, so he should probably be taking the coffin angle, and it looks like that is going to be his choice. Robin going to be playing very far back in CT. He's a little bit worried about an arch flank, actually, so Thomas, it's up to him to get some information quickly so that these players can rotate in, and he would really prefer to try to stay alive and maybe get a kill. This is a big round for both teams here. They're making noise now, though, so Thomas, he should be good for at least one. He is going to find that one. Good spray from him, and that's going to be the full 1-on-3 retake for Endpoint now, leaving Tudson alone.
I believe in miracles, and I mean, honestly, even getting bomb plant down in that situation might be, you know, called a bit magical, but miracles would be if you can get these 3 kills. The first one is good. The second one almost happened. I actually really appreciate the fact that Tudson turned around and went for the player who's behind him, because he knows that if he's not going to be moving in quickly, if he's not running, then he can't be immediately behind me right at that time. So at the most, what's going to happen is I have time to turn around the corner, get that initial headshot, and then I'm in a favorable position where I can actually run around to the coffin. Instead, if I keep dueling the player inside construction, the player coming from banana, the player coming from coffin, the player behind me is going to end up getting a trade 100% of the time. So let's just take the fight to him first. He doesn't get the kill, but I appreciate the effort.
Yeah, but the bomb plant is actually already going to actually reward him for his efforts. Prior to that, it's going to be a great start already for Team Secret. Thanks to that bomb plant from Tudson, he's going to actually reap the rewards himself. He's going to find a kill early on here. Mighty Max, he's going to be playing the corner. This might not be the best idea, given that there's so many players on the other side, and he's going to be taken down for that aggressive attempt. Now, Molly comes out. That's going to be from the rotation of Robin. And he has a nade in store for them too. This is looking pretty good. It's going to actually connect with Tudson. That's some really good damage onto him, finding that frag there. But it's still 4 players remaining for Secret. The bomb isn't down just yet, and this smoke, it might fade a little, might fade pretty soon. Surreal and Robin, I think, might have connected on that one just a little bit. Crucial, though, is going to continue the frags, and now it's a 2-on-2 situation, but Juan, he's on the big flank right now. He should be able to catch them out off guard. He's going to do just that. Crucial gets taken down. Surreal has to turn around. He's going to fight the player in front of him, but Synopsy with the drive-by with the MAC-10, that's going to get Secret their first round on the board, and that's going to hurt the Endpoint economy oh so ever much.
I think a lot of that came down to the fact that the MP9 underestimated how many players there were. I'm going to sneeze just a second. Sorry, you need to carry.
Well, that MP9 from Mighty Max was met by a lot of players, and you are right. That was rather unfortunate for Endpoint right there, because usually, if it's just that one person that beats the molly, then maybe you can get a free 1v1, even things out, but no, it was actually 3 players in front of him.
sorry. My bad. It is the season to be sneezing, unfortunately for me. But Surreal, he's hoping to get some quick kills. The spray through the smoke will not be catching him out whatsoever. The deagle spray will also be doing fairly, well, nothing. But at the same time, you have to remember, it is Mighty Max all the way over towards the B side. And although he hasn't been the best fragger for their side, you know, he's the in-game leader. He does have Robin joining him now, which is a pretty big deal. Robin, of course, very good with his first bullet accuracy. Actually, I think he might be the best from all of the players on Endpoint, and he is the player to have if you want to have any of them. Unfortunately, he misses the first kill, which was very important to get, and off the back of that, he might just want to save these pistols out of the stage. You know, take them into the next round. You have a chance of winning it. It's not like your chances in the next round are going to be any different from this one. If you feel confident enough to buy here, you should feel confident enough to take them forward. That's just what I think.
Yeah, I didn't really like the theory from this round on Endpoint. They bought a few smokes, and I want to say like 3 or 4, and they were trying to play a constant 4-man stack towards brackets with those deagles. But what they did in this round was that they wanted to rotate Robin back so he could throw his smoke after Mighty Max throws his, so that they could refresh the banana smoke, maybe force Secret back to A. But they showed such a formidable defense at bracket that Secret just said, okay, we know that there's 2 or 3 of you guys there, so why would we run into that? And what you need to do in those circumstances, and I see this in a lot of games, thankfully not at the tier 1 level, but at tier 2, tier 3, they look at the Astralis setup, they think they understand it, but they actually don't know the intricacies of it, and they just alert the other team of their positions. They use too many of their smokes early on towards bracket, and it's like, you know, you kind of gave yourself a cursory glance at what the strat was, like what the setup was, but you didn't really understand all the nuance behind it and how you're really trying to force them to the 4-man stack. If you're making too much presence with the 4-man stack, they're just going to walk away from you. They're like, okay, we know what you're doing. Like, why would we run into that? And then you're like, oh, they didn't run into our stack. We're just unlucky. It's like, no, it's because you just told them you were all there, you know?
Yeah. I think the other thing that a lot of teams forget is that everyone watches Astralis demos. Literally everyone. And that's actually one of the, since we're on an anti-force, and that's actually one of the things I told the in-game leader to my team, which was that don't watch any demos from top 10 teams. Because obviously I wouldn't say the same for these guys. These guys are much higher level than we were. But I just said, if you want to copy any strats or something, copy them from, you know, between rank 15 and 25. That's where the level of nuance isn't the same. Percy, nice shot initially to take down Robin. Surreal as well, taking down with a few quick headshots. You know, they're just playing very smooth contact, making sure they're isolating all their duels, dotting their I's, maybe not crossing their T's. Could have used some flashes, but still they keep 4 players alive. Very well done, Team Secret, 3-1.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. There's a give and a take on it. You're gonna learn.
Yes.
The thing is, if you just watch an Astralis demo, you're gonna learn a lot more than if you watch, you know, what's a top 20 team that yeah, maybe a Havo demo. Havo at least have some decent strats,
yeah.
But like a team like Big, for example, hasn't really convinced me that they are super tactical yet. Maybe they have turned around. Okay, like Spirit, for example. Like Spirit, for example, is very inconsistent, and I wouldn't say to my IGL, hey, watch Spirit demos, because, you know, like Spirit are kind of random and very individually heavy focus a lot of the time, so you're going to learn more quicker from an Astralis demo. But if you want to just pick and choose strats on gun rounds, then it could be pretty fruitful to watch some lower level demos, because they have some interesting theory behind some of their execs, and you're definitely not going to get anti-stratted on the exec itself. But then if you watch a default for a high-level team, it's going to be much more thorough and much better than a low-level default, that's for sure.
No, I agree with that. I did specify more like, you know, Havu, Mad Lions, teams like that who have a tactical baseline. But I agree with you entirely. You know, the sheer gravitas of counter-strike that Charlotte brings in is enormous. Synopsy running in a quick kill, almost sprays through the smoke. Thomas is actually quite lucky to be alive. Surreal, in the meanwhile, is going to be playing footsie in the smoke as well. He's actually had 2 players move past him, and he's realized that he heard one of them. So if he pushes through, finds the bomb carrier, turns around, knows his player's behind him, he's actually just run away. He knows that the bomb's been dropped. Percy unfortunately turned around, and Robin goes down because of it. Otherwise, Robin could have had a free kill there. Now Surreal has got the perfect angle, but they've got the bomb. They don't even need to expose themselves. Surreal just peeking forward. He's really doing the heavy lifting for his team right now. That little dance inside the smoke might have given them a chance that they should not have had otherwise. Even so, a 2v2 with very low CT side players.
Yeah, 2v2 situation. It looks like this is going to be very difficult for Endpoint here. Unless Surreal is able to find something off of this apartment position, he might. He actually does get Tudson, and he gets Juan. That is a great round from Surreal. He pulls it out of thin air. Actually, he pulls it right out of the smoke. That is how he got into that position. But you could see the disconnect between him and Robin in that situation where he knows he let those players pass, and Robin's just kind of on the balcony like, wait, what? They're coming from there? Like, what happened? So I don't know if Surreal didn't communicate that or Robin didn't know what he needed to do with this position. Regardless, great round from Surreal. Not only finding an early kill and making that confusing for Secret, but he's able to find the last 2. And that's exactly what Endpoint needed. That was such a crucial round for them. They really needed to get that one on the board so that they can begin to have their CT side. They can begin to actually play the game the way that they want to.
Oh dear, crucial. I feel bad for him right there. That's just one of those situations where you start wondering, what did I do wrong? Why do I have to be here? Why did things have to be like this? But maybe Mighty Max gets a bit lucky. Maybe they don't think that there's 3 players on the B side early on, but that in itself is an oversight they're not likely to make now that they've waited long enough. I actually quite like this. Gives them enough time to make sure that, hey, if anyone was going to make a move, they would have. And we have the bomb actually quite far away, ready to go to A. Now, Mighty Max, who speaks out, they don't get the kill onto him. A flashbang to help him take down Tudson. So good coordination between Endpoint, as is generally the case. But they have given up the A side completely. Juan Flatter is there. Synopsy now sees 1. Is able to get the kill. 3 versus 2. But with the way they are positioned, dare I say it, this round could be impossible.
Yeah, it probably is. It's going to call for the save already. And that's some good prep from Secret. I'm impressed. Good double nade at the corner. I don't know if they know that Crucial likes to play that spot consistently, or if that's just something that goes into their normal banana take. But regardless, it looked good when it happened, and I gotta commend them for that. Mighty Max is gonna be holding an angle.
Oh.
Percy with a perfect peek. I don't know if he heard the scope earlier or what, because it seemed like he knew exactly that Mighty Max was there, and that's not a normal angle for someone that's saving by any means. So Robin, he's going to just walk away with this round with an AK. And once again, Endpoint's economy is shattered. They were able to win the pistol. They lost the second round. Now they win a gun round, and they're just shut down immediately. Once again, it seems like Secret's going to have full control of the economy in this half already. It's going to take Endpoint a few rounds to recover here. And I think this is going to be a technical pause coming out from Endpoint once again. They've been having issues all day, it seems like, and hopefully they're able to resolve these and find a little bit of mental strength and resilience, because this game is not going their way thus far.
I'm just going to check why the pause is coming through, actually, because they've had some issues before too. Okay, so they're just having some audio issues. Unfortunately, someone disconnected a wire from his headset, but these things happen. No worries. Meanwhile, we ask ourselves the question, what can one AK do? It's always a fun one, isn't it? It's always so much potential to go absolutely ham. I think we've been spoiled by players like Nico and Simple and, you know, Zipnix, Colzera, all these fantastic players who just are beautiful with the AK. Actually, very good nade as well. And Arquez takes 1 down. Robin almost spraying the other. He had a chance to get multiple. He's actually set up really nicely for Mighty Max as well. If Mighty Max can just get a few good USB shots, this could be a completely different round. But unfortunately, the headshot he needed or the kill he needed onto Synopsy, neither one of them are going to be coming through. And now to Surreal and Crucial, and the answer to what one AK do is, Maui, not enough.
Yeah, that was not what they needed from him. It's a valiant effort, but now Crucial and Surreal, at least they're in the right place at the right time. They might be able to play off of each other here, and the veteran players are actually going to be playing around these smokes. Percy with a hard clear, and I like the attention to detail for Percy there, making sure that every corner is checked. And oh, a little bit of BM there. Haven't really seen that come out today, but here it is. It almost feels like that was just kind of reactionary, like a general reactionary thing. I don't know if there's really any heat between these two teams. Maybe Secret is a little bit frustrated by all the technical pauses that Endpoint has to come up with, but
it's not been that many.
Nah, it's really not been that bad. So it shouldn't.
Hudson has cool tattoos, I have to say. Yeah. See? I'll tell you. I'll tell the stream something funny in a second. But first, we've got some important things to talk about, which is that they have full mid control for free because Endpoint is playing this early 3B setup where they are allowed to use one extra smoke from their players, so they can just smoke off anyone if they're throwing the early Molotov towards card, which Secret is not always doing. One flat throw. Long range spray gets Robin into a bind. You probably should be lining that one up properly. He was trying to go for the one-way smoke, but it does not really land. Thomas moves into a different position for safety, but instead is airstruck.
Good advantage, though, taken, and now it's a 5v4 situation. We'll see if Endpoint are able to get another gun round on the board here. There's a bunch of Secret players towards bracket right now. Crucial, he's about to be challenged. He's falling off the angle. He's gonna maybe spot out this barrel. I think he does, but a great peek from Percy. He's able to find the entry regardless. Now, Surreal's able to get one. He's gonna be playing a nice crossfire with himself and Robin. Only 25 seconds remain. It's gonna force the hand of Secret. A whiff from Robin is actually gonna enable Tudson there to take down two, and that is a critical error on his part, mechanically speaking, which is going to force Mighty Max and Thomas into a very tough retake.
Maui, talk to me about this giving up top mid consistently setup. I personally really dislike it. I think it's fine as a one-off, nice Molotov. Never mind, they now have a chance. Percy still is a fantastic offer, though, so you have to be careful if you are a fan of him, because he can also be deceptive. They get the round out, but yes, Maui, you were saying.
It's fine to give it up if you have an advantage. You in a 5v5, you definitely want to fight for it. You want to fight for some kind of information across the map. But when you have numbers, that was a perfect crossfire between Robin and Surreal. It's just that Robin whiffed. Like,
oh no,
that's not.
Sorry, just to clarify.
Or what do you?
That was later on.
Oh,
they didn't get the 5v4 initially. For the first 30 to 40, because I have the stream open as well just to check. But up until like 105, It was a 5v5.
Oh, okay. Not holding it at the beginning of the round. I was just breaking down the last part of it. Right. Okay. Yeah. In the beginning, it is a little bit questionable. But if you're gonna maybe take banana control, then it's a little bit more understandable. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's where it's kind of weird. I think. Okay, I'll get to it in a bit. I'll get to it next time we have to talk about.
Sure, I think we might have an anti-eco next round, because I'm sure this is a long conversation. But Crucial, he could not get the kill over here. He got baited out. The flashbang play was actually quite nice. I don't know if they expected him to be pre-firing it. He has gotten a few pre-fire kills onto a flashbang, so if they did, well played. If they didn't, regardless, well done. Good instinct. Crucial repositioning himself, really hoping, taking maybe a bit more damage than he should have. Maybe he didn't realize that he was Molotov down, was being completely blind. Doesn't help. Tudson can't quite bring him down. Robin will take Tudson apart. 2 for him, make it 3 as the MP9 comes up big. And that's all about Anarchez, and Anarchez is down and out. Crucial with 2 excellent kills, great awareness from him, but Robin really stole the day.
Yeah, that was a very hectic round, but still Endpoint are able to come out on top. It seemed like Crucial was just always looking in the right position, and that just shows the experience on this player and how it is coming to become it's just such a big factor for Endpoint. Even when these rounds are breaking apart, oh man, that's not what you want to see at the beginning of rounds. But I think it's going to be okay. Team Secret, though, they're still going to have one more buy in them, and this is one of those pivotal rounds for the half, because you can see that as the score line depicts, it's a very close game, but both teams have no money. So if either one is able to win cleanly, they should have a very good chance to move forward with a... Oh, okay, it looks like we're going to have a cancellation of the round, match medic. And I guess, okay, because they're going to have to match medic this or something or reset it, I will get back to that point from earlier. Giving up bracket and banana, sometimes it's just a purely pragmatic approach in that it's not theoretically correct. It's not. You should want info. But if you're recognizing that, let's say Endpoint thinks that Secret doesn't have actually good execs on A, for example, or maybe they know that Endpoint thinks they have a really good retake procedure for B, then you might want to play like that. You might want to play a little bit farther back because you are just recognizing your strengths and their weaknesses and identifying that maybe they're really good at getting bracket, because Secret have shown that they do actually use pretty good utility to take it. So let them use all that utility for bracket, maybe let them waste it all for naught, and then you play into the site and they don't have any nades left. Maybe you just identify their buy, or maybe you just identify that their exec is just like a moto smoke and a flash above pit, which is a relatively kind of poor exec, and sometimes all that teams have at the end of the day. And if that's all they can do, then playing the site isn't all that bad. They still do have to plant the bomb after all, and if they don't have any good way to actually breach it, then sure, playback. It's not in tier 1 Counter-Strike a good game plan, though, because that's never going to be the case that they don't have good execs. But maybe they identified that.
That's true. I guess for me personally, my only issue generally with this, well, I'm very, very greatly exaggerating when I say my only issue, but one of my major issues is very often in tier 2 to tier 3 Counter-Strike, we have very good aimers. And what this does is this diminishes the ability for them to exercise one of their greatest strengths, which is finding a kill onto someone who's pushing into you early on. Later on, they're always going to be getting an execute out, flashing out. When they're getting onto a site itself, they'll always do that. But early on, at the very least, and maybe you give it up after 15, 20 seconds. So what I personally am of the opinion of is that, okay, fine. Even if you have to be pragmatic, you hold it for 15, 20 seconds, maybe even get super aggressive on one side just for 15 seconds to see whether you can put one of your greatest strengths to play. But obviously, what you say makes a lot of sense. I'm not discounting that whatsoever, just something to keep in mind as well, I would say.
Yeah, it was a kind of an enlightening moment when I was in an MDL match one time, and we were doing pretty well. And I want to say the scoreline was like just something simple, like 4-3, but we just kind of lost like 3 rounds in a row due to losing banana control, losing bracket control. We had to save one, and then we had another gun round. And then our coach just said, just play back, just play the sites, and then just let the fight come to you. And it worked just fabulously because that's exactly what that team was good at. They were good at fighting for banana, they were good at fighting for bracket, but they actually couldn't really breach the site. So we just played the crossfires we usually end up in and around, and it just worked out fabulously. And that's I'm just saying, behind it. But Thomas, he doesn't need any logic, he just needs firepower right there, like you called it. That is one of his strengths, just that pure aim, that raw skill, and it's gonna pay off beautifully for him. Mighty Max is gonna chime in as well. That molly also at the feet of Percy is gonna help take him down, and he's forced out of his position, just leaving one flat row here in a 1v4.
Not a very nice place to be, unfortunately.
Definitely not.
Yeah,
especially on the other end of that barrel.
I guess. That's how nice. That is actually so nice. Not backing off is the strength itself, too, at times. Mighty Max as well, delivering a lot more than he actually did in the series before this. He was a bit individually poor. Up against Skade. It was Skade, right? Yeah, Mighty Max, once again, that's what I'm talking about. Stepping it up, bringing it to them. He doesn't realize there's a player to his left, so he will end up falling, but he's made enough space for Thomas to be able to carve Percy up and bring him down. Flashes will be dodged, peaks will be taken, and with them will go the life of Percy. Tutson is the last man standing, and stand he will not for very long. The way things are going, Thomas brings him down 6-5.
Convincing rounds from Endpoint, and now Secret have to find some kind of way back into this game. Synopsy, he has an option whether he wants to go for the Galil nades or he was going to go for the AK, just pure armor. I'm glad to see that he has the nades here, given that Secret have looked pretty decent at actually getting map control when they want it with the utility that they have. So they aren't just falling apart at the seams and they're going to be playing an individual game. They are going to stick to that team Counter-Strike that has gotten them where they are. Let's not forget that. Fight towards apartments is going to start things off here. Crucial still wants another piece of them. Surreal is going to get a big piece of Percy. He's going to take his life away. Crucial, oh my goodness, is he really going to keep on aggressing here? Juan is going to be pushing for the balcony, and he is going to be taken out.
Yeah, this is a 5 versus 2, which Endpoint has made it look completely different to how they have been looking pre-technical issues. So props to them. I'm not saying that the technical issue was malicious or anything of the sort. I'm sure they were having genuine issues. They have all 4 tactical timeouts remaining, if I'm not completely mistaken. But yeah, so we've got ourselves as 5v2. Both the players on the T side do have a sizable amount of utility, but with 40 seconds left on the clock and the CT is having plenty of time to start moving over, and T's can't really rotate. This becomes very difficult. Mighty Max gets a nice kill, and Thomas finishes things off. Really good rounds from Endpoint these past few times. Look at their money, Maui. It's very good. Now, Mighty Max gets a drop over here, so he doesn't go below 2k as well. You've got another 2 buys in you, and given the fact you're going 12 rounds, that's all you need.
Yeah, they should be good for the rest of the half. Maybe the last round would be a little bit tricky, but it'll probably still be a pretty good economy.
So.
Yeah, so they're probably fine. And let's see how Crucial picks him apart. He's just peeking down middle, and that's a little bit overzealous to peek a 3rd time. At that point, they're just going to set up their crosshairs right where you've been peeking and take you right out. Tudson does just that. Smoke go or a molly towards middle. Have a bad smoke actually on port side. That's going to actually give Surreal a really pretty good one-way, but is going to be snuffed out by Tudson, who has actually been the star of this round thus far. He's found 3 kills already. He has an op. He could actually technically win this if he's able to isolate these duels, but Mighty Max peeks him right when Tudson moves his crosshair, and Endpoint will secure an 8th round. Also, just for the viewers, this has the last technical pause was actually Secret's pause. It wasn't Endpoint, so it's actually been kind of technical issues on both ends for them, if it wasn't clear.
I mean, it is just a part of online Counter-Strike, unfortunately. Yeah. But honestly, things have been so much better than in the past that I'm still loving it, man. It gives us some extra time to talk about the game, which is lovely. I get to ask you about some concepts, which is lovely. And Robin has gotten control of a banana, which is also lovely, combined with the damage he's done to Synopsy.
Round is really slowing down here. Seems like Secret want to exercise their bracket control. Throw a molly towards Arch. It's a pretty light take, all things considered. Not really using as many smokes as I'd expect, but it's actually going to be a full Arch wrap exec. Crucial to try peeking into that. That's probably a little bit ill-advised. Mighty Max just going to stand his ground though with the smoke. It was actually going to be a B split, and Mighty Max just holds his ground and finds all 3 players. Secret, this strat fell flat on its face. Yeah. The bunny hop from Anarchiz is stopped in its tracks, and this is looking a little bit dire for the T side.
Yeah, Synopsy is down, and I think I figured out the reason why all of Team Secret is crossing their hands. It's because at one point or the other, they've all given themselves a reason to be cross with each other. Look at this though, man. Mighty Max, 1 beautiful shot, 2nd beautiful spray. With 4 bullets left, he stops the spray. He has the awareness to do that. That is beautiful, honestly. I'm so glad he's having a good game. It's not often that in-game leaders have that, even though I know that, you know, high-fragging in-game leaders are a thing now. It is much more common, but even so, it's great to see.
Yeah, and we'll see if he's able to give himself a nice round advantage going into the half. It is the 15th round here. Can be a 9-6 or a 10-5, depending on the outcome. Looks like Endpoint has really found their stride, though, in this game. They were down 4-5 at one point, but they have rattled off 5 in a row, looking to make it 6. And at this point, Secret, they look so stumped. They only have a single smoke left in the reserves. Tudson has that, and it looks like that's going to force their hand towards B. They will simply smoke off CT, maybe Molly new box, and just see what happens after that.
Nice nade from Miley. He's going to be able to peek out for second contact. Gets 2 kills. He's really feeling it, but unfortunately can't finish off one. However, he does have Crucial, who somehow just, he is very much the Terminator right now. It doesn't matter where you go. It doesn't matter where you hide. He will time travel if he needs to, but he will find you and he will almost kill you and then save your day somehow or the other. I don't know how the last bit ties in, but Percy is dead and they have won.
Great half from Endpoint there, as you can see. Actually, it's eight rounds in a row. I thought they were down. I thought that was actually a different scoreline at one point. Or I guess it was 4-5, but then it was actually 2-5. So that's 8 rounds in a row for Endpoint. Let's see if they're able to continue that momentum going into the second half, where Secret will now be on the favored CT side. And I'm really favoring Endpoint's chances here. I don't know about you, but they have looked very solid in this game. Communication-wise and individual playmaking, all of it has come together so nicely.
Well, their T side hasn't been great across what we've seen today, but I think Secret might be getting a bit frustrated right now, so maybe their CT side won't be that fantastic either. I kind of like this from them, actually getting very aggressive early on to try and get some of the momentum back in their favor. One flat show is, however, alone on the B side, though, which means that now it's a 4 versus 2, as Robin takes down Sonopsy. Tudson still fighting up. Bomb is down. Thomas swings out wide. Anarchez is left alone. He gets 1. He gets 2. Some nice shots in there. He's been very good with the USPs this series, but unfortunately not with anything very much else. Even after those 2 kills, he's only setting on to 6-13, which isn't entirely acceptable from a player, regardless of their role. I mean, he hasn't really been opping on the T side, though, so I will give him some slack.
Yeah, and off of that, Secret, they're going to be forcing into the round. Anarchist, he's going to be looking for a very quick opening pick. He's not able to find any of these shots connecting. That is 3 attempts, and he found 0 tags. That's going to be pretty detrimental to his team's successes. There are only so many places you can use the scout, only so many places you can fall back to, and Tudson, he's not going to fall back at all. He's just going to fall right on the floor as Thomas takes him out right in the face, as does Latro across the map. Man, this is looking so clinical for Endpoint at this point, and Anarchez, he's missing again. This guy can't catch a break. He's found 1 shot, but finally he connects on, I think, his 5th or 6th bullet of the round. Robin takes out Percy, not missing a shot.
Yeah, he can't catch a break, nor the side of a barn.
Not like all these are. Yeah, not like all of these are super easy shots, but when you have that many chances, you'd think you'd hit at least one of the early ones. 3 shots towards middle, all of those with the opposing player visible. You've got to connect with at least one of those at some point.
Also, it's not just that, it's also that it's a continuation from Dust 2. Where he was very, very much one of the big reasons why his team couldn't get kills. Because if you're investing that many resources into buying an AWP and it's not getting the job done, you lose out on quite a bit because of that.
Yeah, of course. He's not going to have the same utility levels that are going to maybe enable other plays across the map, enable his teammates. It's really just an all-or-nothing gun at that point.
It's also not just utility level. He's not going to be in a position to do that because the AWP needs so much resources positionally as well. He needs to be in a place where he can find people, where he can see them, where he can take that first peek. He can't just be hiding behind trying to throw flashes over. Support ops were a thing once upon a time, but that was just so that Smiths could have a contract.
Oof. Yeah,
that is a joke, though.
And at this point, though, Percy is just going to be alone on this site. He wishes he had someone to support him here because he's just going to be tucked in a mini pit. I think he spotted him, though. Yeah, that being surreal. And it's going to be a farm fest for Robin. I am excited to see how many kills he can get here. That's one. Looking for a second. Not going to happen, actually. A little bit disappointed. Maybe a little bit of Caster's Curse, as those were just 4 USPs he had lined up. Could have done so much more. But I think he's okay with that because it's going to force him to upgrade into this round. Crucial is actually going to be equipping the op here. And across the board, Endpoint is going to be a very solid buy. On the side of Secret, they're going to bust out the double op very early into this half.
Secret's playing this quite defensively as well, actually. They're not particularly keen on contesting the brackets control. They do send Anarchez back to scope in with the AWP. Hopefully he can find something this time. I like that he's getting aggressive, but that might be too far given that it's a minute and 20 seconds on the clock, and generally speaking, that angle will be checked. Molotov flying out as well, but it is a difficult 4v5 for Secret to be coming out on top of. I like One Flatcher's positioning combined with Percy, but it's a bit of a gamble. Now, they get smoked off towards Mini Pit, towards Moto, and now they can't really do anything. And when it's 28 seconds left on the clock, you're 2 players on the side, it feels like sometimes a crossfire can just be better if you're playing slightly closer rather than, you know, trying to play one person anti-flash, one person trade. But they are going to save the weapon, so I guess that makes sense in that case, if that was the plan all along. All along.
Yeah, that's really frustrating if you're Secret, though. That shouldn't have been the plan. You're down 13-5. If you give this one up, you're going to be facing a 14-5 scoreline. This just feels like Secret are getting outmaneuvered and they're morally defeated at this point. You could see the way Percy was just kind of bunny hopping away with his crosshair in the air. That's just kind of that in-game body language that you don't want to see on your players. That you just, you know, it feels like they're giving up at this point. It feels like they've lost hope. It's not really going to bode well for them. Whereas Endpoint, they've come together nicely in this game. They've come together nicely on these last 2 maps, and this seemed like a strong possibility, given that on Train, I mean, they were just kind of outclassed in terms of map knowledge and preparation, but on Dust 2, they look like the superior team for a multitude of reasons. The Anarchez, he's going to try to make up for that difference.
Yeah. And at the very least, they have a man advantage this time, you know? There is that. But this 4 versus 5 is going to be one of Endpoint's big tests for me, because so far they have been having a lot of things handed to them on a plate, Maui. I'm not going to lie. The terrorist side has been a lot easier than it probably should have been. But this is the big one for me. If you can capitalize somehow in 4v5, if you can come through when there's very little risk either, because you have full money, so you don't have to be, you know, half-arsing it, so to speak. But nade flies through, good nade, excellent damage onto Robin, some great smokes as well over here that will allow Percy a lot more maneuverability. And Endpoint might have waited too long. I like how Secret is playing this. Surreal will be brought down. Synopsy is the man watching for that push to come through. And in a 3 versus 5, it might be a safe call.
We'll see if Endpoint are able to find some other avenue into this round, though. They have found one pick, but there's just no time, so there's really nothing for them to do. Robin was kind of posturing like he actually wanted to, but the rest of his team was just hightailing it out of there. And so That's gonna be a 6th round on the board for Secret. Good openings from Synopsy and Anarchas, and Endpoint just getting stopped in their tracks. So Secret showing a little bit of life here, and we'll see if it continues. They've shown kind of questionable team play at times. It doesn't seem like they always show the most trust. But if they find frags on an individual level, I mean, anything can happen. So we'll see if they're able to continue finding these opening picks. Last round, it was Anarchez. He's looking for another one here. He's playing so aggressively, and he's been actually kind of stepping up, despite how disappointing he's been in certain circumstances. Surreal, though, he's just going to barrel through apartments. This is going to cause a lot of confusion for Secret here. Juan Flastro is going to be able to correct his position and be able to take him down, but it's going to force, actually, Endpoint away from Banana. It looks like they wanted to take that position earlier, but it's not going to go their way just yet.
Yeah, one flat throw. He was just watching the grenade trajectory for so long, wondering where the player went. And Arquez, though, peeks out, lands that shot, misses the second one, which does come back to haunt him and bite him in the head in the form of the Thomas bullet. Mighty Max, though, is in a 1 versus 2. Bomb can be planted. Molotov is there to help him out just a bit. He may have actually killed himself by throwing it, though. Synopsy recognized that the bomb was not being tapped. It was being fully planted. He pushes forward. Good recognition on his part, and Team Secret get themselves a 7th round. Endpoint still with the bomb plant, and Robin and Mighty Max's $10K are going to have a comfortable buy, but Secret probably happy to get a few more rounds in.
Secret are going to just have to play flawless Counter-Strike for the rest of this. They're probably also going to have to keep 3 players alive for most of it as well. The loss bonus from Endpoint is already swelling, and when you're at 14-7, it means you just have so many rounds to play with. Not only are you going to just have the sheer number, but the loss bonus on top of that, once Team Secret starts coming back to the game, is going to constantly breathe down their necks. And if you get bomb plants on top of that loss bonus in some of the rounds that you're losing, you're consistently putting pressure on them to win in a flawless fashion. You can see that the money on Secret right now, it's so bad. They have the money, the utility to actually control Banana a little bit, but they don't have many more nades than this, so these nades have to be flawless. Thankfully for them, they are very good, though.
That was an excellent kill on the Thomas right there. Mighty Max also being so low is problematic. They're actually playing the full retake Banana setup. I respect this. A minute and 10 seconds in, going for control is very important. Tudson moves in. Yeah, that was not retake Banana. Never mind. Synopsy, however, will take down Crucial. And I think you're right. A lot of this is just looking at a shot as demos and not realizing what certain utility is perhaps used for.
It's kind of just skipping steps. It's kind of what happens if you, I guess a good example would be like if you were in class and you just kind of crammed for a test and you kind of understood what the answers would be for that, but you don't actually understand why. So when the later material comes, you're just kind of stumped as to, wait, I don't get this. How is this building off of anything? So, regardless, 2v3 situation is developing here, but just 28 HP combined remain for Endpoint. Now it's just 18 HP. Mighty Max, as the IGL, he wants to get that utility on his players. He wants to have another round to play with, so he's just going to force the bomb plant at his own demise. So good plant from him, as it will enable them to purchase into the upcoming round. And Secret, it seems like they are maybe finding some answers.
I mean, Secret, good to see them getting back on their feet. Endpoint as well is not at that 15 mark. That's where it really starts to get hairy. That's where the pressure just builds up exponentially. And I think I found a way to fix your analogy. It's like when you cram for the test and you get your marks because you know the answers. But when you have to use it in real life, you're suddenly thinking, wait, what does that integral do?
Yeah. Kind of getting by with the grades, but not actually the applications.
Yeah. Nades, not quite connecting all the way through, but perhaps a bit of that is attributed to Team Secret. And this is where Maui, this is what I was talking about. You know, a lot of the rounds earlier, Endpoint did just have them handed to them. So I'm glad. Wow, that is a very incorrect Molotov, actually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that landed on the roof.
Yeah, because so you know how you have to be there from like the second barrel, not the very last one? He did it for the last one. Yeah. Unfortunate. But you can see them, you can see the cracks, but you can also see that Minemax is very eager to patch them up with some bullets of his own. Robin takes down Synopsy. That's a big kill to find, especially when you consider Minemax has found a space where he will not be checked, and he gets to pick up a smoke for his trouble as well. Unfortunately, the bomb is on the ground near Barbecue, and it'll make it a bit harder to plant it if Juan can chuck that nade out and follow up with some good spray damage, but neither one of those are particularly deadly. And this is a 3v3 retake where Secret will have their work cut out for them.
Mighty Max, he's going to be holding the line at Emo. He's going to be the first point of contact. And slow approach from Secret might actually allow a chance for the banana player to swing in, and it's going to actually be the case. So Crucial actually is going to find a kill of his own, but he's going to get flashed off here again. He actually finds the flick onto Juan, and now Percy has to pursue him, and he will find the kill, and I think that's going to be enough. Percy's going to find this and close. It was within the last second, but it was off of it was a very slow approach from Secret there. They threw the banana smoke, and I thought they were taking a little too long, but as a matter of fact, that was not the case. Mighty Max, maybe he could have tucked in, but he just thought that fight was going to come in so much sooner. He wanted the favorable angle instead of tucking himself into the corner. But if he had stayed alive, if he had known everything that we do as casters with X-Ray, he might have played that just a little bit differently. But just a big what if right there.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. You know, maybe Valve should make that a mode where you can see everything with X-Ray if you're the in-game leader of one team only, you know?
They should give a recon dart so that you can shoot it, and it'll give X-Ray with everything that it's
I know, cuz. Quick kill onto Robin. Flashbangs are good, actually, coming out from Team Secret. Blinding the players inside side can be tricky. Tudson, good no-scope. I don't know how he was allowed to have that. That should not have happened. Crucial. A bit slow in taking him down, unfortunately, and Percy finding the refrag. So now, actually, you're right. It's a 2v4, but they have excellent positions. If the AWP is covering this properly, this should be very much winnable. No, the wrong person's planting it. But, I don't know, 1v4, Thomas. They're all coming from the same angle. That's the problem. If they were coming a little bit more split up, then I believe in him. But now he has to pull out the Tech 9. He has to really take it to them. Gets one, but one flash throw is on top of the first oranges, and that is not going to happen.
But once again, it's another bomb plant, and this is just a lot of mental pressure for Secret there. They had to just win a retake there, and if it weren't for some good spam from Synopsy to get the planter through the smoke, that would have been a pretty hairy situation for them. So Endpoint, they continue. Look at this. What is this? 360 no-scope? Tudson, sign this guy to FaZe Clan, I guess, because what in the world is that? Cool stuff. Yeah. Cool scenes there from an unlikely position, but look at the buy from Endpoint. It's still so comfortable, even off of a pretty solid half buy in the previous round that was able to net them a bomb plant and a doable situation.
Mm-hmm. Double off setup coming out from Team Secret. Very passive again on both sides of the map. Endpoint is thinking, wait, we do this. Why can't we break what we do? And they think they may have figured it out. They've chucked some smokes over towards Pit, but unfortunately for them, Anarchez is ready to intercept the long And with Robin going down, this becomes incredibly difficult. Flashbang goes up high towards the left side. They're trying to bait out some shots. There's no one inside Graveyard. Thomas gets a beautiful kill. Mighty gets the second entry as well, but it's all about taking down the man in pit. That's one Flatro, and he will be seen by the balcony player. No idea how he doesn't die over there, but somehow Surreal stalls it out a bit too much. Mighty Max, fortunately, is there to trade Tutson away after he's taking down Surreal. And that's all a 1 versus 2 where Synopsy is struggling to bring them down. Very difficult retake from this angle, actually, but he finds the AK-47 at the very least, but he's backing off. Secret, that double-mindedness, that's going to come back to get you. Secret don't have money, so they know they have to go for this, but that just makes it impossible. And now Secret's money is terrible. Remember, they bought up a double up in this setup.
Yeah, so it's really going to hurt. That loss right there. You're gonna already see that Percy and Tudson are gonna be on MP9s for what may be their final round. Synopsy's gonna be busting out the auto shotgun. I feel like every time I've seen this at Home Sweet Home, it's actually done an incredible job. So we'll see if he's able to replicate that kind of success, or will it be a rough retake situation and it's just gonna be a rather useless gun. I mean, only time will tell. He's playing that B site. Endpoint, they're starting with a much slower default here. They want to scout out the competition. They want to see what Team Secret have in store for them. Is it going to be an aggressive play, something a little bit needless, something a little bit individual, or is Secret going to stick to their guns? Are they going to find a setup that works for them?
Crucial. Very quick Molotov, top mid control. Little do they know, they don't need it. Haha. Ha. Seriously, dude, this is really odd. Full flash out on Anarkez. Anarkez repeats into that. Okay, he's probably just feeling the pressure in all fairness because he's the op in a situation where they have two MP9s. One flat throw, long range, beautiful shots, but he can't finish them off. And Thomas, low HP, gets two. He punishes and is then taken down by the MP9. Synopsy, the XMs may have been good so far in Home Sweet Home Maui, but not that good.
This seems rather unlikely. Actually, you could see on the kill feed that when Anarchist did go for that repeak, it was actually a team flash that kind of caught him there. I think Percy threw a flash from pit. He wanted to peek with it, but maybe just a little bit too slow, or maybe just didn't find the right angle on it. Regardless, Endpoint are going to take it 2-1